Mexico.
For better relief from acid and gas, people
Don't!
I'm going to strip you down to your shorts and throw you to that pack of starving lions.
That kid is my lawn care expert. He advised me to buy that Murray tractor. Said it had all the same features and quality construction as the high-price brands. Same engine, too. And it makes my lawn look great. But best of all, buying that Murray tractor instead of one of those high-price brands saved me enough money to have him do all the yard work. Here's looking at you, kid.
Murray, the clear-cut choice.
American travelers have been the targets of international terrorism for some time now, and as a result, many people have put off or even canceled plans to travel abroad. What does it all mean to the travel industry? Well, as Pat Dolan tells us, places like Mexico and the Caribbean are in, but Europe is definitely out.
I wouldn't want to take any type of chance. There's so much to see in the United States, I would rather stay here.
Even before the attack on Tripoli, Americans by the plane load were dropping travel plans for Europe. For instance, travel agent George Laszlo says his bookings to Rome and Greece are down by 50%. And now that Colonel Gaddafi has declared a holy war on the United States, even large discounts and well-funded promotion campaigns are not selling many new seats across the Atlantic.
Price is not an object today. I know a client would rather pay $500 more than go on a trip that is hazardous.
If you were able to get a $200 or $300 discount to go to Europe, would you take that despite the risk?
On an Italian cruise ship? No, I don't think so. Or even on an airline? No, I don't think so.
Travel agents say Americans are not giving up their summer vacations, just choosing to have them somewhere else.
Mexico, Hawaii is booked to capacity, the World's Fair in Vancouver, Canada, the Caribbean, especially for honeymoons.
But the rush on places like Alaska and Hawaii could mean a severe accommodations crunch this summer, especially since Americans will be competing with European vacationers drawn here by the falling value of the dollar.
Tendency is to advise them to book as early as possible.
And if they don't book early,
they can be shut out and they'll have to try a different destination.
The travel industry is hoping that interest in Europe will take off again if the predicted wave of international terrorism fizzles. But the way things have been going the last couple of days, no one is counting on that. In New York, Pat Dolan for the Independent News.
A fiery young militant inspires his people to overthrow a country's ruling government and later becomes an important and strategically located friend to the Soviet Union. It happened in Cuba with Fidel Castro. Now the same thing could happen in Libya with Gaddafi, as Ron Leverton tells us.
The dust had barely settled following the U.S. raids on Libya before Muammar Gaddafi was hinting at closer ties with the Soviet Union. It's no secret the Soviets would very much like to develop air and naval facilities in the Middle East. But some Soviet experts say this may not be their golden opportunity.
I think that the Soviets see this as a mixed blessing. Actually, they have all along wanted to establish themselves prominently in the Mediterranean, and they always are seeking bases. The problem is that Gaddafi is a very peculiar animal, and they have as much trouble sorting him out as we do.
Soviet vessels sailed out of the Tripoli area just prior to the raids, seen as a clear indication they did not want to be caught in the middle. Soviet military hardware is continuing to flow into Libya. Those supplies are not expected to stop. But there is some speculation as to just how far the Soviets are willing to go.
The Soviets would find it very hard to control a person like Gaddafi. He may be willing to go along with things for a while, but again, he is Gaddafi, and President Reagan is not wrong in some of his characterizations of his character.
As a whole, the Arab states don't appear anxious for a Soviet stronghold in Libya.
Libya, as well as all the Arab countries, are non-aligned. We don't believe in having bases, but we do believe in having cooperation with all states if they respect our sovereignty of the various Arab states. And I think this applies to Libya as to anybody else.
And so the dilemma facing the Soviets has no simple solution. It's a question of whether or not Colonel Muammar Gaddafi is worth the trouble. For the Independent News, Ron Leverton, Washington.
The Soviets and the Arab nations rushed to condemn the U.S. and rally behind Gaddafi after the U.S. attack. But are Libya's vocal supporters her true allies? When we return, we'll be talking about Libya's and Gaddafi's future with Libya's ambassador to the United Nations in our studio. Stay with us.
Nothing's missing.
I can't believe it.
Introducing low-salt premium saltines. They taste so good you can't believe they're low salt.
I can't tell the difference.
Due to a special baking process, new low-salt premium has 40% less salt.
But still has salt on top.
Yeah.
40% less salt and all that fresh, crispy premium taste.
Can I have some more?
Also try low-salt Triscuit, low-salt Wheat Thins, low-salt Ritz. Your favorite great-tasting crackers with less salt from Nabisco.
For over 30 years, I was a blade shaver. Then I tried the Remington microscreen and fell in love. That's why I bought the company. The Remington microscreen shaved me as close as a blade and fast. Remington has two thin, flexible screens. The first shaves incredibly close, the second even closer. And the Remington microscreen rechargeable never needs a cord because this convenient charger stand keeps it continually charged. And the Lady Remington rechargeable, the perfect gift, shaves without a cord.
Where does it go? Wrestle Rock, the Metrodome, Waylon Jennings, the Road Warriors. Yeah, we'll be there doing the usual Road Warrior things. You're gonna feel what it's like to take the wrath of the Road Warriors across your stinking ugly little head. Haha, you're going. Losers and a honky-tonk hero.
Snack a pack. It's the handy-dandy, light and lively six-pack. Snacking, smacking, back it, pack it, tuck one in your jacket.
Yogurt lovers, you'll love the money-saving six-pack of light and lively low-fat yogurt. So smooth, creamy, fruity, and delicious.
So stock a stack, get the knack of the handy-dandy, light and lively six-pack.
On Monday, the United Nations Security Council reconvenes to consider a request for a formal UN resolution condemning the United States for last Monday's attack on Libya. The man who is arguing Libya's case before the world body is Dr. Ali Trekkie, Libya's newly appointed ambassador to the UN, and he's former foreign minister. Thank you for joining us in our studio tonight, Mr. Ambassador. One of the nagging questions since the attack has been the whereabouts of Colonel Gaddafi. Where is he now?
Well, he's in his own country.
Is he alive and well?
I think you saw him personally in the TV. I think he's fine. He's in his country.
You were in Libya at the time of the attack on Monday.
Yeah.
Did you speak with Colonel Gaddafi afterwards?
Not
personally?
only I saw him. I met him before.
And did he ask you to bring any particular message from him through you to this country?
Well, the message which I think we should really, and I am instructed to give, that to explain to the American people and to the international body the consequence and the result of this U.S. aggression against our own country.
Which is?
I think you have seen this consequence. I think the detente between the two big powers have been affected. Demonstration all over the world against the United States, frustration in the Arab world and the Islamic world against the United States. They consider this as a crusade against the Muslims and the Arab world.
Ambassador Trekkie, what are the consequences from the point of view of Libya at this moment? Is Libya planning retaliation?
Well, it depends on the attitude of the United States. We have no intention to escalate, as we said clearly, I think. But if such aggression is repeated against our country, of course, we have to defend ourselves. And I think we do hope that the message should reach President Reagan and should be aware of the consequence. Not only concerning Libya and the United States relation, but also I think the relation between the United States and over the world, including especially the Arab world and the Islamic, and even with the socialist countries.
You said you have spoken to Colonel Gaddafi since the bombing raid and that he is alive. But is he in full control of his government? Is he still in the reign of power?
I can assure you that he is in full control of his government, more than President Reagan in full control of the United States.
What about the reports of instability within your country and attempts at a coup d'etat?
There is complete stability, and I think the regime has the support of the people. And I think Reagan did a good service to us.
We have been hearing a lot of condemnation this week, particularly in the United Nations, from your Arab allies, from the Soviet Union. They have been quite vocal with their anti-American sentiment. Is this a cosmetic support, or do you expect they would really come to your aid if this escalated into further hostilities?
We are sure of this. I think we, especially from the Arab nation and the Muslim nation, I think I just told you that this is a new crusade which is Reagan started against Muslim and Arab countries. And I think the support from the Muslims and the Arab countries is growing, and not only within the Muslim Arab world, but also within the third world, like an African country.
I have to ask you this, Mr. Ambassador, these reports you heard in this broadcast about a price list and also about the Libyans being placed behind the executions of hostages in Lebanon. How do you respond to that? Was Libya behind this?
Libya has nothing to do with this. I think the relation between this so-called group and Libya is very well known. We have nothing to do with it. We are not. It is a normal reaction from people all over the world against the American aggression.
One final question, the United Nations resolution. Is it true you are having difficulty mustering enough support in the United Nations to gain passage in the Security Council of this resolution?
Well, I think the fact that we had the support of all over the countries all over the world, I think only Britain has supported the United States. And you have seen that more than around 40 countries came to the Security Council and support Libya, and show this is that the members of the United Nations are supporting Libya, and we do hope that that resolution will come. Certainly, the resolution will not come because of the veto of the United States.
Good. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Ambassador Ali Trekkie of Libya.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more news in just a moment.
Morning is your time. The earth wakes up with you. You always feel that spark of life in everything you do.
Grape nuts. For you, it's as natural as the morning. No sugar added, no preservatives, just an honest nutty crunch. Post Grape Nuts cereal. You know when you've got it good.
Yes, you know when you've got it good.
Laxative users, discover hospital-tested Senecot. Why do so many doctors and hospitals recommend natural vegetable Senecot laxative? For good reason. Watch. If you take away those laxatives that contain artificial ingredients, those that may need 2 or 3 days to work and are more bothersome to use, what's left? Senecot, the natural vegetable laxative that works overnight. Discover hospital-tested Senecot. Also available, Senecot S with a softening agent.
It happened just after dawn. As the town of Sweetwater, Texas slept, 2 twisters dipped down from the clouds and joined to form one gigantic tornado. And then it hit. One 87-year-old man was killed, 5 people left missing, at least 92 injured. Scott Pelley has this report from West Texas.
It's in a company, Mama.
Does anybody know nothing about this?
No. It's my mother's house.
In the aftermath of the tornado, there was confusion and panic. Juanita Ortega found her mother's apartment in ruin, but no sign of the elderly Maria Ortega. This is the neighborhood that was hardest hit. It is a low-income housing project for the elderly and single-parent families. Lena Brown stood in what was once her kitchen and remembered the terrible moments of the storm.
It was hitting all around me and on me. And finally it quit, and I was thankful.
Just a few feet from Lena Brown's shattered home, the body of Earl Tatum was found under the wreckage of his apartment. Across the street, Alton Hilly stood near the bed where his injured brother was found. Most residents here were caught unaware of the approaching danger.
The tornado came through quite suddenly, almost without warning. Residents here have told us that the severe weather sirens were not sounded. Some people who had gone to work early in the morning were not aware that their homes had been destroyed only a few blocks away.
The damage was severe but localized. The tornado struck only the housing project and another neighborhood nearby. The injured, like 12-year-old Freddie Ramirez, were taken to Rolling Plains Hospital. 92 patients were treated here.
We had 1 death. We had 11 that were transferred to more adequate facilities in Abilene. We had 67 we saw and dismissed. 11 has been admitted, and 1 patient is taken to surgery.
It's going to be all right. We're going to get a doctor to look at him here.
Juanita Ortega would later find that her missing mother was taken to an Abilene hospital where she is being treated for cuts. The loss in Sweetwater is expected to run into millions of dollars, but the suffering here seems even more acute because the random violence was confined almost exclusively to the poor and the elderly. In the hours after the storm, the residents could only start the process of cleaning up. Staying busy was helpful. Lena Brown saying, "You've got to keep going so you don't stop to think." This is Scott Pelley reporting.
We'll be back with more as the Independent News continues. Stay with us.
It's gonna be a golden crayons day. Just a kiss of golden honey on those little golden grahams. A kiss of golden honey makes you smile and wanna say, tastes like honey graham crackers, crispy, crunchy all the way. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a golden grahams day.
Tastes like crisp honey graham crackers.
It's a golden part of this nutritious breakfast.
Just a kiss of golden honey makes you smile and wanna say, oh yeah, it's gonna be a golden grahams day.
Wrap a bowl with Reynolds plastic wrap, and an unusual thing happens. It clings. If Reynolds plastic wrap clings tight enough to keep this fruit outside, imagine how fresh it'll keep your food inside. Reynolds plastic wrap clings tight to keep food fresh no matter what. Now that's not fair.
The Independent News, brought to you by the Remington Micro Screen Shaver and by the General Foods Corporation.
That's very important. Busy day in sports. The man with all the sports news, Bob Goldschall.
And this was a day that belonged to thoroughbreds, the two-legged and the four-legged kind. In the NBA Eastern Conference playoffs, a thoroughbred named Dominic Wilkins of the Atlanta Hawks scored 50 points in Atlanta's win over Detroit. Atlanta could be the team to challenge Boston in the East. They can match the Celtics in size, and they've got enough good athletes, and the best of those athletes is Dominique. Detroit led early in that game, but when Wilkins to Webb to Whitman executes the break, it's just a 2-point Piston lead early on. Then another thoroughbred, Isaiah Thomas, with a great move and a 4-point lead in the second quarter. But it was little Spud Webb who had 18 assists and 19 points. A super drive near the end of the half appears to be the buzzer beater, but Dominique Wilkins sneaks in with 2 seconds left, and he scores 2. The Hawks led by 2 at the half. Third quarter, Spud Webb steals. He goes ahead to Wilkins for his 38th point of the game on his way to his game high of 50. Now here's Wilkins fighting off a double team. He simply jumps above them. It gives the Hawks a 9-point lead. And Randy Whitman, who had 35 with a dummy pass to Joe Koncak for 2. The Hawks led by 14 with under 5 left. They beat Detroit 137-125. They go up 2-0 in their best-of-5 series. Thoroughbreds at the Wood Memorial in New York prepping for the Kentucky Derby 2 weeks away. The fourth choice finished first. Broad Brush at 7-1, past front-running Groovy at the top of the stretch. He fought off Magambo for the win. Track announcer Marshall Cassidy calls the final stretch.
Remains in third on the far outside. Here comes Tasso. They're at the 8th pole. Broad Brush on the outside has the lead, goes a bit wide. Groovy comes on again on the inside. Magambo is in third. Broad Brush on the outside past the 16th pole, leads out. Groovy on the inside, second down. Magambo is closing, but it's Broad Brush in front. Broad Brush wins by about a half, and I believe it was Magambo on the outside.
Was second, Groovy was third. Broad Brush paid $16. He ran the mile and an eighth in 1:50 and 3/5 seconds. That is his 7th win in 9 career starts. And that's it in sports. Marvin?
Thank you, Bob. That's the Independent News for this Saturday, April 19th. I'm Marvin Scott in New York. Have a good night and a great Sunday.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff Bellion.
And I'm Fritzy Borgwarth. These stories are in the news tonight. We'll explain why Minnesota officials are concerned about the health of our state bird.
The deadline for the proposed Bloomington Mega Mall draws near, and St. Paul was buzzing with some busy bees who know how to spell.
I'm Jim Gillill, and in sports tonight, the Twins stumbled again, but the Strikers are in good position.
Topping the news tonight, a very busy day for some Minneapolis and Hennepin County Police.
It's the beginning of a crackdown on people who ignore traffic or parking tickets. Officials nabbed 132 people in the first attempt to collect more than $3 million in unpaid fines. Maureen Reeder reports.
Police Department.
If you have an unpaid ticket and a warrant for your arrest and someone didn't come knocking on your door today, you were lucky. More than 80 officers hit the streets of Minneapolis this morning looking for any of 35,000 people who didn't pay their tickets on time. Officers were out to pick up violators at home or at work.
Got any other addresses?
Somebody got away with a fictitious address on the driver's license.
After 5 stops, sheriff deputies we followed found success. This 20-year-old woman has 12 unpaid tickets on her record. With more than $400 due in fines, she was arrested. Even an arrest for an unpaid traffic ticket is taken seriously. You will be handcuffed. If you cannot post bail or pay the fine, you will be taken to jail, and you will be booked.
Most of these people have had at least 3 notices in the mail, and they should be well aware of the warrants were outstanding.
I'm sure it's a warrant. It was,
Okay, and what's your last name? Some people, well aware of warrants for their arrest, lined up today to post bail or pay their fines voluntarily. Officials say they've collected $100,000 this way. This whole method of a crackdown every few years isn't very unpopular with law enforcement officials. The sheriff says he'd like to see legislation passed to change the way traffic warrants are collected.
The ultimate answer is that it should be dealt with by the legislature and give us the authority to handle it, as we call, through administrative sanctions, where if a ticket is issued and it goes to warrant, that would then go against a person's driver's license or motor vehicle registration.
That way, Omot says, sheriff's officers wouldn't have to do a crackdown every few years. People with outstanding tickets just wouldn't be able to renew their car registration or get a driver's license. But for now, the crackdown continues, and unless you're arrested, you can still voluntarily pay your fine. Maureen Reeder, Channel 9 News, the Twin Cities.
If you'd like to voluntarily clean up a warrant, report to the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department Warrant Division, room 22 at the courthouse, 3rd Avenue South at 4th Street, or call 348-2000. This office is open around the clock.
A second U.S. strike against Libya was considered. That's what Senator Dave Durenberger is saying tonight. Durenberger says the most recent act of terrorism, in which 2 Britons and 1 American were killed, was just cause for another attack, if only it could have been proven Libya was behind it.
It'll probably be a long time before we see that direct connection again as we saw in Berlin. But if we intend to stamp out terrorism across the world, and we expect to get everybody else involved in stamping it out, I think each time you have an incident, whether it's an airplane that's blown out or the kind of killings that deliberately took place in Lebanon, I think we need to retaliate someplace.
Durenberger chairs the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, saying he wants to see firsthand the effects of the U.S. raid on Libya. American Indian Movement leader Vernon Bellecourt plans a visit there. Bellecourt, who lives in Minneapolis, will make the trip in 2 weeks as a member of the International Indian Treaty Council. The group represents North and South American Indians at the United Nations. This will be Bellecourt's second trip to Libya. Just 2 months ago, he met with Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. Fritzy?
A German white wine is being recalled in Minnesota after a bottle of it burst. The wine is Kellergeister. The recall includes all 1.5-liter bottles sold after October 15th of last year. Kellergeister may have been distributed to 7 wholesalers in the state. Officials say the recall is only a precaution and that in most cases consumers can safely open the bottles by slowly releasing the pressure while turning the cap. When a couple thousand loons died off the coast of Florida 3 years ago, investigators found many of the birds were suffering from mercury poisoning.
As a result of those findings, researchers in Minnesota set out to explore the scope of the problem here. Results of that study are now starting to come in. The magical call of the loon. It is Minnesota's theme song. Outside of Alaska, our state has the largest population of loons in the country, estimated around 10,000. But despite their numbers, Minnesota's state bird may be in trouble.
It's not something that would be, they're there 1 year and all gone the next year. It'd be a real subtle kind of thing, which makes it all the more important to be monitoring the mercury levels in the loons so that we understand what has happened to them through time.
For the past 2 years, the DNR and State Pollution Control Agency have been collecting loon carcasses and testing them for mercury contamination. 42 birds have been sampled, and the test results on 7 of them are now in. They range from low levels of mercury to very high levels.
One thing that could happen with high amounts of mercury in their body, it may affect their reproduction. It also may weaken them, so when they have to make a long migration to their wintering grounds, that they be more susceptible to disease.
It seems the loons are being contaminated by eating fish that are contaminated. Mercury levels are abnormally high in some of the lakes in Minnesota's Arrowhead region. Nobody's quite sure why that is, but some scientists believe it may be caused by acid rain. Later this fall, researchers hope to have a better idea of how severe the mercury contamination of loons is, and they can use your help. Any dead loons should be reported to the DNR or Pollution Control Agency. They need those carcasses to continue their research.
And when we return, another delay on the decision of whether or not to build a mega mall.
And a new queen bee is crowned in St. Paul. Stay with us.
Quackgrass, it can really hurt you. That tough weed will cost you yield. How much yield? Up to half. There's only one way to knock out quackgrass, roots and all. Roundup herbicide. Why use anything less? Compare Roundup at 1 quart per acre with the loss of half your yield. Remember, quackgrass can hurt you, but you can knock it out with Roundup.
Set aside your quackgrass acres now and spray later with Roundup.
Turn us on. You'll find out how we build this city on rock and roll. Coming up, a very special Solid Gold with superstar Stevie Wonder live on stage. You'll also see the lovely Sheena Easton, the gambler Kenny Rogers, Kool and the Gang, plus Adam Ant, and top rocker Paul Young. Join America's favorite hour of hot hits with superstar Stevie Wonder. All this week on Solid Gold.
Sunday night at 7 on Channel 9.
Ordinary mowers don't cut it. If you're a tough customer, you demand extraordinary. And one riding mower gives you that. Aaron's. Aaron's gives you more bagging capacity, more comfort, easier height adjustment and less scalping, and more years of service.
Aaron's makes a tough decision easy.
Aaron's, the easy choice for tough customers.
Aaron's Riding Mower at TerraCare and Tri-K Sports.
A high-tech dedication this afternoon in Bloomington, the new home of VTC Incorporated. The company manufactures semiconductor chips used in commercial, military, and aerospace applications. What goes on inside the building is very secret. VTC has taken extreme precautions to keep it that way. For example, the concrete walls are 14 inches thick and reinforced with steel. By the time the facility is up and running by year-end, it'll house some 500 employees.
The deadline is almost here for a commitment on whether a mega mall will be built in Bloomington. Mayor James Lindau had set Wednesday as his deadline, but now he says he's changed his mind. He's not ruling out the proposed mall yet.
They're trying to work out some of the details, and I'm not about to say by noon tomorrow, if you haven't got it worked out, you can go someplace else. So that's what's happening.
The Canadian 555 Corporation, the developer of the proposed mall, is also negotiating with several other cities, but Lindau says he expects a decision soon. He says the old Met Stadium site won't sit vacant forever. And plans to build a large automobile unloading center in Rosemont have been scrapped. Neighbors had complained the center would be noisy and would lower their property values, but the developer says it's dropping out because the city wanted the operation restricted only to daytime hours.
Looking at other news from around the 5-state region, doctors in Wisconsin think they've come up with a better way to handle liability claims. Start your own insurance company. The idea was endorsed at the annual meeting of the State Medical Society and could be in place by July. School officials at the University of Iowa are ensuring against a measles epidemic. A student who was isolated with the disease is no longer contagious, but all students who haven't been immunized yet will have to get those shots before they can register for class. A South Dakota crop specialist says state farmers may have to alter their spring planting patterns. Rain and snow have kept farmers out of their fields, delaying normal crop planting by nearly 2 weeks. A couple of education notes to pass along tonight. Results of the preliminary scholastic aptitude tests are in, and the news is good for Minnesota high school juniors. They scored higher this year than they did last time around. Math scores rose for the first time since 1980. The test is designed to measure skills in preparation for college entrance exams. And fourth graders in the town of Windham, Minnesota do pretty well at math too. So well, in fact, they rank far above the average in the state. Windham's principal credits the outstanding performance to good teachers and an aggressive math program.
They range in age from 10 to 13, and some of the words they've never heard before.
But today they turned alphabet soup into words like saccharin, picayune, and scherzo at the state spelling bee.
Urchin. U-R-C-H-I-N. Urchin.
Correct.
10 boys and 18 girls spelled their way here. It began tediously as one after the other was eliminated.
Ensconced. E-N-S-C-O-N-S-C-E-D.
Delay.
Myrrh. M-Y-R-R-H. Correct.
So far, so good for Amy Matara. It was her first trip to the state finals.
Croquet.
Last year, she was
During
knocked out on the
summer,
word
we
Renaissance.
often play.
She studied harder this time.
Yeah, I studied words whenever I had time or could remember to.
What's the most exciting thing about being at a spelling bee?
I think it's just waiting to see who's going to win or not.
Shanghai isn't past tense or present tense.
It was also tense for Jenny Gross, a Brainerd student who excels in English. Last
During
year,
the
she missed the
18th
championship
century,
by one
many
word,
men were
candelabrum.
shanghaied to serve
This
on
year, Jenny
sailing
again
ships.
found herself in the final two.
Sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla. S-A-S-P-A-R-I-L-L-A.
Delay. Incorrect.
I knew it, but I didn't think.
Word is
Are you going to try and come back
Go off
next
and
year?
yell and scream. No, I'm in 8th grade now, and next year I can't. S-A-R-S-A-P-A-R-I-L-L-A.
correct.
That left Amy with one word left to spell.
Tarantula.
T-A-R-A-N-T-U-L-A.
That is correct. Congratulations.
And for Amy, that also spelled relief.
I thought, oh wow, it's tarantula, I can spell this.
Amy wins a $1,000 bond and on May 20th, a trip to Washington for the national finals. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ballparks around the major leagues come in different shapes and sizes. So do people. In fact, I'm not the easiest guy to fit, but at Foreman & Clark, the huge selection, which goes all the way to size 56, includes lots of suits, coats, and slacks in my size. And their free tailoring takes care of all my needs. Best of all, I get quality at a low price. Foreman & Clark have specialized for almost a century in menswear, and they feature low prices every day. Take my advice. If you want your clothes to perform better than a 400 hitter, buy them at Foreman & Clark.
So shiny you have to ask,
is it wet?
No, It's dry.
A shine so shiny you have to ask.
Is it wet?
Nope, it's dry.
Who leaves the shine without streaking, without rinsing?
So convincing.
Is it wet? Is it dry? You know the answer, you know the guy.
Mr. Clean is the man.
Mr. Clean is the man behind that shine. Is it wet or is it dry?
Take this iWorks eye test. Have you ever seen an eye care store this complete? Where a doctor of optometry gives you a total eye exam? Can you see the over 4,000 frames to choose from? Now focus on our computer that helps you choose just the right frames, our contact lens center, and ultra-fast service from our in-store lab. Is it clear the iWorks is the eye care superstore? Then you've got 20/20 vision. Come see the savings. Buy one frame, get one free at the iWorks, Brookdale, Ridge Square North, and Southdale.
Well, you'd have to spell a lot of words to describe today's forecast. Sun, rain, clouds, everything.
And there's one way to spell tomorrow's forecast.
How's that?
C-O-O-L.
Oh, cool.
That's
okay.
very good.
I got
you
that
passed. Well, despite some periods of sunshine, it was generally partly cloudy today with brief April showers dotting the sky. Temperatures were cool in the north with readings in the 40s. We had it a bit better in the south where 50s and low 60s were the rule. Right now around the 5-state area, 41 degrees in Duluth, 48 and cloudy in Rochester, mostly cloudy, a temperature of 45 degrees in Fargo. Rapid City, South Dakota, the cool spot at this hour, partly cloudy, 40 degrees, and that's a sign of what's to come for us. Sioux City, Iowa, still rather warm, 54 and cloudy, and 47 now in Green Bay. Right now in the Twin Cities, our sky is partly cloudy, a temperature 45 degrees. The relative humidity stands at 89%, dew point 42. Winds are now out of the southwest at 10 miles an hour, and the barometric pressure is falling. 62 degrees, that was our afternoon high. The low this morning was 43. So far, just a trace of precipitation to report. Cool, moist air behind yesterday's rain, along with the strong April sun, is what's causing today's wet weather. Here's the live color radar picture from the National Weather Service. The showers that we had have now moved over into Wisconsin. Most of it is light, and although some thunderstorms could pop up later on. Here's the cloud system associated with that rain. It covers much of the northern part of the country. That stretch of clouds in the Mississippi Valley region is being watched very carefully tonight. It's responsible for a tornado that slashed through Texas earlier in the day, killing one person. No severe weather in our forecast. Tomorrow will be a lot like today, although it will be a bit cooler. So, the complete metro forecast by the National Weather Service. Tonight, our skies will be partly cloudy, and there's a 30% chance of showers or a thunderstorm. Look for low in the upper 30s to the low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, a 40% chance of showers. It'll be cooler. We're calling for a high of about 50 degrees. Sunday night, decreasing clouds. Expect a low in the low 30s. And on Monday, sunny but still cool. Our high will only be in the mid to upper 40s. And despite those 40-degree readings, summer does loom on the horizon.
And as the seasons change, so do some American habits. Ann McDermott reports on this annual ritual.
Disco torture? No, this is merely a rite of spring in preparation for summer. Also known as bathing suit season. Once again, America is attempting to slim down.
Thighs first.
34 million Americans are overweight, and 16% of the nation diets year-round. That percentage seems to bulge in the spring as even pretty good-looking bodies get put through their paces.
I'm not satisfied with my physical appearance. It would scare you if I took my clothes off.
Shaping up is big business. Americans spent $5 billion doing it last year. Some of the money spent on home videos, to jump with Jane, pump with Arnold, and to Bubba till it hurts. Books are big, too. Fit for Life is #1 on the New York Times advice book list. Other tempting titles, The Delicious Diet and Eat to Succeed. That ought to do well with the yuppie crowd. When they're not reading, millions are eating diet foods. One of the nation's largest grocery chains claims sales of low-cal frozen delights have jumped 15% annually over the past several years. And now one can even dine out without guilt.
Everything here is low calorie, so I come here.
People still try crash dieting for summertime slenderness. Dieting can't be just a spring thing. Instead, bad habits of a lifetime must be changed. So, say goodbye to junk food.
A nice little innocent self-respecting potato, even a pretty good sized one, has 150 calories. 10 French fries has 150 calories.
Sure, it can be difficult, but then again, bathing suits aren't hiding much these days.
Well, if you're on a sports diet, Jim Gilliland has just what you ordered.
You sample a little bit of everything here tonight, including heavyweight boxing championship.
Important game for the Strikers as well.
That's right. They're right at the top tonight because they're, after all, the only local team that's in the playoffs. So
we've got one.
That's right. The North Stars left a little bit prematurely for some people's taste, but the Strikers are still in and they're doing well tonight. It's late in the game. We'll have a report when we come back.
When my boss said, I want the best for you, I thought, sure, SwinTech. What's a SwinTech? Electronic typewriters. Well, SwinTechs are super. They've got lots of electronic features and sculptured keyboards. He calls it ergonomics. Ergonomics, schmergonomics, they make work easier. And they're affordable. I know, I pay the bills.
Mom, is my letter ready?
My son, the boss.
Consult the Yellow Pages or call 1-800-225-0867.
This is Lens Crafters, where you can have glasses in about an hour, even bifocals. We don't waste time with a faraway lab like other opticians. At Lens Crafters, we custom grind lenses right in the store. Listen.
I picked my glasses up in less than an hour.
You cannot find a better selection anywhere in town. Nowhere.
It was less than an hour. Fantastic.
Come watch us make your glasses in about an hour. Lens Crafters, Loman's Plaza across from Rosedale Shopping Center. Open Saturday, Sunday, and weekday evenings.
The Minnesota Strikers can wrap up their opening round series with Dallas tonight by winning in Big D. They're leading in games 2-1, but if they don't do it, Game 5 will be here on Tuesday night at Met Center. Right now, the Strikers leading 4-3 in the fourth period of play. Details are sketchy, but we know it must be Tino Lettieri in goal for the Strikers against the famous tattoo of the Dallas Sidekicks. The winner of that series goes on to face Cleveland and Baltimore, and they have a fifth game coming up in their series tomorrow, and they'll be down to the Final Four after these first-round series are resolved. Well, it's been a strange playoff so far in the NHL. The league's second, fourth, and fifth best regular season teams went out in the first round, and numbers 1 and 3 were in a little bit of trouble in their second round series. The Red Hot Rangers resumed their contest with Washington tonight, already leading the series 1-0, but the Caps were ready for a comeback at the Cap Center. Nice two-way passing play there. Alan Howarth feeds Mike Gartner, and John Van Beesbroek, who's been terrific, had not a bad night, but Washington was just all over him. Scott Stevens ahead to Craig Laughlin. He goes to the backhand and scores 2-0 in the first. And before the first period was out, the Caps would go ahead 3-0. Shot comes out to the point, or rather the pass comes to the point. Howarth winds up, and Van Beesbroek maybe showing a little wear. That one got in underneath him, and it was 3-0 after one. It was 4-1 in the second period as the Rangers got a goal, but the Caps broke it open on the shorthanded play. Bob Gould to Gaetan Duchesne, and Van Beesbroek with no chance. And the Caps went on to win the game tonight by a score of 8-1 and tie that series at 1-1. Montreal is on the verge of doing the same in their series with Hartford. The upstart Whalers won the first game, but they're trailing 3-1 with about 4 minutes to go in that one. The other two series, Calgary at Edmonton and Toronto at St. Louis, resume tomorrow with St. Louis and Calgary leading. The basketball playoffs are interesting this year. Sure, the Celtics and Lakers are still the top two teams, but some other clubs on the rise may not be far behind. We saw Michael Jordan of the Bulls get 49 points the other night. Tonight, Dominique went one better to hit that magic 50-point mark. He's a superstar, the NBA's leading scorer in the regular season. Isaiah Thomas weaves his way through traffic for 2 of his 36 for the Pistons, but Randy Whitman gets 2 of his 35 on the other end. 2 old Hoosiers locking it up, and a headache for Bill Lambier because he had to stop the flying Dominique today. Here he just turns and puts a jumper in over tough opposition. And then on the fast break, Spud Webb, the 5'7" slam dunk champ, to Dominique, and the Atlanta Hawks rolled to a 2-0 advantage in their series, 137-125 over Detroit in the East. The Western quarterfinals, the Lakers rolled again. They handled San Antonio with no problem, and Houston tonight has defeated Sacramento by 8 points. Houston leads that series now 2-0, as do the Lakers. Well, what the Twins certainly hope is not a look at things to come. They lost their second consecutive one-run game, losing out in Anaheim 5-4. They haven't been able to win the close ones in the past, and today was no different. John Butcher was spotted a 2-run lead, a home run by Herbeck early, but the Angels scored 5 times in the fourth, the last 3 on that homer by Dick Schofield, and they hung on to the lead to win it 5-4. Donnie Moore put out the fire for the second straight night. Twins had the tying run on base in the ninth, but he got Kirby Puckett on this check swing strike, and the Twins lose it And they are now 5-7, falling today 5-4, picking up just 5 hits and committing 2 costly errors, one in that double play chance in the inning that would have got them out before Schofield's homer. But alas, it's not to be. And tomorrow's game, as you see there, will be on KMSP Channel 9, 2 p.m. here. One of our 68 regular season contests to be televised. Scores tonight in the American League: Cleveland Club's Detroit. It was Toronto defeating Kansas City. Milwaukee defeated New York Yankees in extra innings, and Boston 3-2 over Chicago, and the White Sox are now 2-9. Texas losing to Baltimore. Eddie Murray has 2 homers in that game and all 5 RBIs with a grand slam, one of them. Oakland leading Seattle there early in that game. National League, the Braves shut out the Dodgers 2-0. St. Louis in 17 big innings defeated Montreal, and that's why the Twins game, which was supposed to be part of a national television package today, did not get seen, to the frustration of many fans in this area today. The Phillies lose to the Mets, and the Houston team tops Cincinnati. The final there was 4-3. Pittsburgh and the Cubs and White Sox fans down in Chicago are just miserable. The Giants, who are rallying this year early, defeated San Diego 6-5. The Gopher baseball team opened Big Ten play in Madison this weekend, and they had a good start, winning 2 games down there in Madtown, 10-6 and 4-2. The same 2 teams have another doubleheader tomorrow, weather permitting, and the Gophers host Northwestern 4-game series next weekend at Siebert Field. The Gopher tennis team, the men's team, now finds itself as the favorites for the Big Ten championship after their 5-4 win over Michigan last night. Tonight, Michigan State the opponent at the 98th Street Courts. There's #1 singles player Matt Grace with a big left-hand smash, and Grace had no trouble in his match with Paul Masaros of State. He won it by a score of 6-0, 6-4. Here we have Casey Miracle in the near court of Minnesota. He's going against Santiago Cash, an import from Peru who plays for the Spartans. He also had no problem tonight with a 6-2, 6-2 win. In fact, the whole Minnesota team did well. 8-1 over Michigan State. The final is just in. Gophers are ranked 8th nationally. That's pretty impressive for a northern team. And they are now 5-0 in the conference, make that 6-0, and up to 21-3 with their overall record. Well, they'll be running at Canterbury Downs in less than a week. The thoroughbred season opens Friday, but if you're a bit rusty on what to do and where to go when you get there, you might want to take in their open house tomorrow. It starts at 1:30, and those 1,800 new additional seats, the reserve seating, they'll be available for purchase also tomorrow. We're now 2 weeks away from the Kentucky Derby. The biggest prep race was the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct today. Marshall Cassidy looks at the finish.
Rush on the outside, now takes the lead by a neck. Ruby on the inside, back into second by 4. Gumbo remains in third on the far outside. Here comes Tasso. They're at the 8th pole. Rush on the outside has the lead, goes a bit wide. Ruby comes on again on the inside. Mogambo is in third. Rush on the outside, past the 15th pole, lead out. Ruby on the inside, second, and Mogambo is closing, but it's Broad Rush in front.
Broad Brush wins over Mogambo. Tasso a disappointing 4th, and all this means that Snow Chief should be a big favorite on Derby Day in a couple of weeks. One of the rites of spring in Minnesota returned this weekend to Lake Minnetonka. It will be another 4 weeks before we can lure the wily walleye, but the crappie fishing is respectable. These are scenes from the 19th annual crappie contest at Lake Minnetonka, with proceeds going to the Leukemia Fund in the Twin Cities. Some 4,000 entrants participated, and when the fish were all in, they gathered round to measure them out at Lord Fletcher's, and Bob Hirsch of Minneapolis had the winner there. 1 pound, 15-ounce crappie pulled from Stubbs Bay. And a heavyweight title fight going on. It's on right now, but Holmes has been given the first 2 rounds in closely contested rounds over Michael Spinks in their 15-round scheduled match.
Big rematch.
Yeah, it would be. Holmes needs this one because he's 36 years old, and it would be a 2-fight losing streak, something that he probably can't handle at this age.
Okay, thanks, Jim. We'll be right back.
Wherever soybean growers have a problem with broadleaf weeds, when Basagran goes over, it's over. When Basagran goes over cockleburr and smartweed, it's over. When Basagran goes over velvet leaf, Jimson weed, and wild mustard, it's over. Basagran by itself or tank mixed, it's economical and gentle on your crop. Wherever the problem is broadleaf weeds, when Basagran goes over, it's over.
They're here! The
the 1986 Volkswagens. Tons of them. So we're having a big celebration. Great new cars in every great shape, size, and color. Here for immediate delivery. Come drive them. Play with them. Open and close the doors. Everything works. Want a terrific deal? Hurry in.
Get 1 year's free interest on a 1986 Wolfsburg Limited Edition Golf from your Twin Cities Volkswagen dealers. Immediate delivery today.
Well, we'll leave you with one more look at tomorrow's COOL forecast. Our skies will be mostly cloudy along with a 40% chance of showers, slightly cooler with a high near 50.
I had to wait and figure out what that meant for a second.
Right.
Not that quick.
And that's primetime news for this Saturday evening.
Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Good night.
The SFM Holiday Network presents Lorimer's The First Texan. The dramatic story of Sam Houston.
Stand still. No blood has been shed here, and there's no reason why any should be.
But when peaceful means failed, only one way was left. Joel McCrea co-stars with Felicia Farr in the spectacular drama of a territory's fight for independence. Don't miss The First Texan.
Saturday night at 10:35 on Channel 9.
I did it, Vern. I did it. I passed the taste test. I chose Sprite over 7-Up just like more Americans. I guess I'm just the kind of guy that likes to win and...
Score at 1-1 in the first period. Tino Lettieri brilliant all night for the Strikers, who took a 2-1 lead on this goal by Jan Goossens. Again, the feed from Thompson Usean. 2-1 at the half. The Strikers scored the only goal of the second half. Another pretty play by Thompson Usean. He gets it right across the goal mouth to Ray Hudson, who's breaking, and he scores. The Strikers win 3-0, and they can clinch a playoff spot with a home win over Dallas Wednesday night at Met Center. Speaking of Dallas, as you may know by now, as you saw in the Independent News, Louisville and Duke will play for the National Collegiate Basketball Championship there in Dallas on Monday night. Louisville was a relatively big favorite to beat LSU, Coach Denny Crum having been to the Final Four 6 times. Dale Brown and his upstart Tigers put on a good show in the first half. John Williams, their sensational sophomore, scores 2 here, and Don Redden got 2 of his game-high 22 to give them an 8-point lead at intermission, but Billy Thompson and Milt Wagner were too much to overcome. Here's Billy Thompson inside for Louisville, getting 2 of his 22 on a nice move. And a 22 was the big number today because that's how many Milt Wagner also had. The Cardinals put on a big show, outscoring LSU 17-1 at what stretch in the second half, and won it going away by a count of 88-77. Mike Krzyzewski and Duke, #1 all year, have 1 step left, and we'll see them going into action here. Mark Allery and Danny Ferry. Ferry gets the winning bucket, gives his team a 2-point lead with 22 seconds to go. Kansas could have tied it. Ron Kellogg had 22 points, but missed the jumper there. Dreiling and Manning, the 2 big men for Kansas, had a bad day. They totaled 10 points, but still Kansas put on a good show, losing by 4, and Louisville will go at it with Duke on Monday night for the title. The Twins snapped a 5-game losing streak with a 5-3 win over Houston today. Frank Viola went 6 strong innings for the Twins, who play Detroit tomorrow at 12:30. You can see that game here on Channel 9. Bob Kurtz and Harmon Killebrew draw that difficult assignment in Florida. Many people were outside enjoying the weather, of course, but the University Lady Gymnasts were putting on a good show indoors. The Gophers nipped Iowa State, or rather whipped Iowa State, I should say, in a dual meet. There's Lori Kaiser. She won the all-around championship with a score of 36.95. Her teammates, Wendy Dorsey here and Shelley Brown, were also in the action. Shelley Brown finished second and Wendy Dorsey third in the all-around. And the final team score was 181 to 149.2. Larry Mize has the lead at the TPC Championship by 4 shots. He's going great guns. He's 16 under par with a 4-shot lead over John Mahaffey. Chris Perry from Edina is in the money anyway. He's at 3 under par, so he stands to make a decent check out there. And he's kind of struggling to become a name player, so maybe this will be his week.
Okay. Thanks, Jim. We'll be right back.
You're my one and only. My creamy deluxe, my only one with butter. You butter me up. Are you sweet talker, Betty Crocker? Oh, honey, what you do to me? You spread with devastation and you lead me on and on. Oh, creamy deluxe, you're the cream of the crop. Frosting with butter, you knock my socks off. Are you sweet talker, Betty Crocker? Right.
Take a look at Maury's Mazda. Take a look. It's new. On Highway 12 in Minnetonka.
Highway 12 near 494 in Minnetonka. Weekdays at noon, travel around the world and visit the brightest stars in Hollywood. Join Bob Seger and Pam Thompson on PM Magazine weekdays at noon on Channel 9. Different Strokes, Monday through Saturday at 6 on Channel 9.
Easter Sunday is shaping up to be a very nice day. Here's another look at the forecast. Our skies will be partly cloudy and it'll be a little cooler. Expect a high from 62 to 67 degrees. Winds will be west to southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And that's primetime news for this Saturday evening.
Thanks for being with us. Have a happy Easter. Good night.
Good night.
Friends, remember, 4 gigantic sale days at Viking Chevrolet in Fridley. Look at this, a 1980 Plymouth Trail Duster, V8 automatic and power steering, $49 down, $159 a month, or $4,488. Look at this car. Here's a 1980 Chevette, $49 down, $99 a month, or $2,788. Look at this unit. Here's a 1978 Dodge Super Cab with a 10.5-foot camper, sleeps 4 and completely self-contained for only $49.
TV offer, and you get 30 weeks of TV Guide home delivered, and you get 3 months to pay, and you get the lowest price going, and that's a promise. But there's more, because TV Guide has more to give. More news and clues on what's to watch, and when to watch, and who to watch, and why to watch them. TV Guide whets your appetite for the week ahead with previews and features on upcoming shows, sports schedules for national and local teams, plus movie reviews you can really rely on. So you can look forward with pleasure to the best of network, local, cable, and pay TV. Then look behind the scenes and meet the shining stars and the rising stars. The folks who make jokes, make news, make money, and make your day. And TV Guide gives you straight talk on the state of TV and the state of our lives in the TV age. So you'll discover how television's leading families reflect a new vision of family life in America. Find out why we get such a kick out of bloopers, bleeps, and blunders, and learn what's new in home video equipment. So don't miss out. Discover for yourself how much TV Guide has to offer and how little it costs.
Yes, right now, call 800-228-1234 for 30 weeks of TV Guide at the lowest price going. 30 weeks of TV Guide in your mailbox for pennies a day. And you can pay in 3 easy monthly installments of just $5.75 each. 800-228-1234. Send no money, but call today. 800-228-1234.
So come on. TV Guide pays for the call. Call now. You'll be glad you did.
I said the unusual. Said the unusual.
Hold out for the out of the ordinary. Hold out for Dr. Pepper.
There's no single cheese like Velveeta.
'Cause Velveeta is more than one single cheese.
Like Colby, Swiss, and cheddar.
Blend it all together
For a creamy taste that melts with ease. Velveeta processed cheese spread is so much fun. Lots of natural cheeses are better than one. Velveeta really knows how to please. You just can't stop till the very last drop.
It'll match the Royals and the Mariners. They pitched out on 2-2, so that's going to run the count full now to Harrell. Saw that a little bit last night. The Rangers, who have become a running team under Bobby Valentine, seem to have unnerved the Twins a bit, and it definitely has them on their mind. Now he goes in a 3-2 pitch, and they had him 0-2, and Harrell winds up drawing a base on balls.
Now, Toby's been saying all year that if you just stand up there, they're going to walk you more often than not. Now that runs his base on ball total up to 59 on the year, tops in the major leagues.
The Twins threatened him the top half of the inning, but did not score. Now it is the Rangers threatening here in the bottom half. Ranger running game definitely on the Twins' mind. I remember you remarking last night that Wardle threw over to first base about 15 times, looking at Larry Parrish, and Parrish hasn't stolen a base in recent memory.
That's right.
Buddy Bell looked like he might be bunting there. Looked at ball one. Valentine and company in the Ranger dugout.
Well, he's a young manager, and he's 35 years old.
Only La Russa is no longer the youngest manager in the American League. Thing that happened to Butcher with Hara, something we've talked about in previous broadcasts, where you have a batter 0-2, then you start to nibble. And the next thing you know, he's standing at first base with a base on balls. Now Butch comes in, 1 ball, 1 strike.